All right, thank you, Tim. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the Area MPO Policy Board for the Area Plan Commission of Tippecanoe County.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I guess we'll start over then. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the MPO Policy Board for the Area Plan Commission of Tippecanoe County. This on October the 10th, 2024 at 2:00 p.m. And the first item is a roll call for quorum. Tom Murtaugh. Tom, on my sheet shows that Tom is supposed to be here.
He might be a little bit late, but he's not currently on.
Okay, thank you. Gary Schroeder. Here. Steve Snyder.
Present.
Larry Leverance.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Is either Julie Ginn or Ben Murray on? Look like it. Deb Calder.
Here.
And Tim, that does give us a quorum.
Yep, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. All right, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. Those have been communicated to you in your packet. I hope you've had an opportunity to look at those, and I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved, Larry.
Cindy, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, changes, or Scribner's errors? Hearing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Don't see Tom yet. So Gary Schroeder.
Aye.
Steve Snyder.
Aye.
Larry Leverett.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Deb Calder. Deb?
I said aye. Did you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear
No,
it.
you're
Thank
okay.
you.
You're welcome.
All right, the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T2414B, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 TIP. And it looks like, Doug, you'll be handling that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a fairly unique situation. I don't recall this as happening in the past. This is a transportation TIP amendment that we reviewed and approved, or at least the policy board approved last month at the meeting. And the following day, of course, we submitted it to the transit section, the NDOT transit section specifically, for their review. And after a number of weeks, we finally heard, or they did respond, and they did raise several questions regarding it. There were two. One was a very minor issue, and that was the 2024 Lono emission grant. The resolution did not contain what they call their TPI or project number. And it was kind of interesting because when we requested that, which was in late August, they did not give us that number. Specifically, the person who reviewed this did not give us this number till mid-September, well past the policy board meeting. We did submit the information, and we did indicate that we did not yet receive the number for the resolution. The other issue was kind of minor, and this was regards to the swapping of federal funds between projects. There were a number of projects where the funding was zeroed out. In the staff report and during our presentation, that was mentioned, and they, as in the NDOT staff person, asked that we put that information into the resolution. So that is what we have done. As you can see on the screen, it now has the official number for the low no emission grant, and then also the specific capital projects where the federal local funding was zeroed out. So basically, we are asking, again, after if you have any questions or comments, if this resolution be readopted to kind of tighten this up so then we could um, satisfy their additional comments. Are there any questions about this?
All right, thank you, Doug. Hearing no questions, we'll go ahead and conduct a roll call vote on this resolution. Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverett,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Deb Calder.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The resolution is approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T24-16, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 TIP program. And this involves new charging stations. And Doug, looks like you're up again.
Yeah, again, thank you, Mayor. This was requested by the Indiana Department of Transportation. Basically, it involves two projects. One is updating a project that is already shown in the TIP, and the other is a new one. The information for updating the project, if you look at the table, that's the first one that it shows 2 phases of preliminary engineering and also construction phases for 2026, 2027, and 2028. The staff report indicates the additional phases were added to this project. The second project is more specific regarding Tippecanoe County, and this will add additional charging stations to the location on actually the Meyer property on State Road 26. The Technical Transportation Committee has reviewed this request and recommended approval, and we are asking for your approval through Resolution T24-16. Are there any comments or questions that I can answer?
All right. Thank you, Doug, for that explanation. Seeing no questions at this time, we will conduct a roll call vote on this resolution. Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverett,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
and Deb Calder.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T24-17, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 TIP, and this is involving city bus and some flex funds. So, Doug, you're still up.
Yes, for me, this is a very exciting project. Basically, when we were developing the TIP, we did not allocate all of our safety funds, and actually, there was just under $600,000 available for projects, and we have brought this to everyone's attention in the past couple months just to let everyone know that those funds were still available to use. So the idea came up that we do have safety issues, specifically addressing pedestrians and bicyclists and city bus patrons at the intersection of Sagamore Parkway or US 52 and Paramount Drive. And we thought this would be a good opportunity to use these funds to construct pedestrian improvements that relate to safety. Specifically, the county is in the process of constructing, or will be shortly constructing, a sidewalk along Paramount up to the NDOT right of way. This project will extend that sidewalk to the intersection and create safe waiting areas at the corners. And then it will also include constructing safe waiting areas in the median on both sides, add pedestrian buttons, pedestrian heads to the traffic signal. Of course, there will be changes necessary for the internal box needed, and then create or construct sidewalks, and then improve the bus stops on both sides of the road. So basically, this project creates a safe area where, especially Purdue students, because this is mostly in this area, for them to walk to the bus stops, whether it be on the north side or south side. So in order to do this, we need to flex our funds, because these are federal highway funds, over to city bus or to the transit section. And when we do this after the approval, then we can request NDOT to do that. And then city bus, once NDOT and FTA go through their process, can then start this project. The Technical Transportation Committee did review this and approve this change at their September meeting, and the City Bus Board of Directors did also approve this at their September meeting. We are asking for your approval through Resolution T24-17. Are there any questions or comments?
All right. Thank you, Doug, for that explanation. Sounds like a very worthy project. So it looks like good use of those dollars. With that being said, we will conduct a roll call vote. Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Deb Calder.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone. The motion is approved. The next three items on the agenda, the next item on the agenda with three sub-items is administrative modifications to the 2024-2028 TIP. And as you know, these have been done, and our role is just to hear about them from Doug, and they're letting us know that these have taken place. So Doug, why don't you just go ahead and do all three of them there?
Great, thank you. The letter that you see on the screen is the first one. This is in regards to the City of West Lafayette Soldiers Home Road project, specifically Phase 2. As you may be aware, there are issues in this section with the environmental review, which will unfortunately delay construction of this phase. Because of that, engineering will need to be moved out. So the TIP is currently showing funds for what would have been purchasing right of way, but all we're doing with this modification is changing the phase. So this change will allow the city to use these federal funds for the engineering phase. So just a simple change within the document. The next modification is regarding Tippecanoe County's project, and this is specifically looking at the two bridge projects, 80 and 83. And all we are doing, or all we did with this project, these two projects, are change the right-of-way dates and construction dates. The right-of-way phase date is moved from fiscal year 2025 to 2027. And then the construction phase is moved from 27 to 28. So no change in the amount of funding, only change is the date of when it's going to happen. So minor changes. The last one we processed is a transit project. And the transit funds are somewhat different than the federal highway funds, is that FTA allows city bus and transit systems a longer period of time to draw down and use their federal funds. City bus has 2019 funds that are still available, and basically the projects that these funds were allocated to, they are done, and they are being moved, or through this modification, were being moved to projects that still needed to be completed. So we processed this as a modification. The one note I would like to add to this is that we did hear back from the transit planning section of this review. They determined it was needed to be a amendment rather than a modification. So we did respond, and we sent our response last Friday, is that our modification process allows us to do this because, for one, the deadline for using these funds is coming up and coming up fairly quick. So it's basically an emergency need to do this. We did submit the information to them and have not received a response. So I foresee at next month's meeting, we will probably give you a update on what is happening with this. So any questions or comments, not only with this, but the other two?
All right, hearing none. Thank you, Doug, for that information. We'll now go to the APC progress report. Under that, we have MPO update. And the first item on the agenda there is the APC development map. And looks like Ryan will be handling that one.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Wanted to let everybody know of a new tool that we have on our website, working with our very talented GIS tech, Dalen. We wanted to try to create kind of a one-stop shop for all of our land use activities, so people are aware of what is current. So once a project's been completed and it's in the can and it's built, then it comes off the map. But we have this nice big image here, the development portal. You just click into it. Go ahead, Tim. And a GIS map will come up. And what you will have is geographically located all upcoming cases that will appear in a public hearing in our shop. So we're not bringing in city council business, county commissioner business, just APC business. So this would be the BZA, the APC. So all subdivisions, plan developments, rezoning actions, BZA actions, special exceptions, variances, that sort of thing. And then, as you can see, there's also things that are under review, recently approved projects that have yet to break ground, projects that have broken ground, but they're still under construction, and they may still have some more phases to do. But this map is essentially designed for kind of the layperson who's asking the question, what's going on? And we wanted to have a map that showed that in pretty simple terms so that they could spot it on the map, zero in on it. And Tim, go ahead and just click on any one of those images there. And what happens is you click it, and then you'll get some more information about it. And so you'll get what is proposed, and then you'll actually get a status on amount of permits issued, so you can kind of get a play-by-play. So this is the Providence project. It was approved for 550 res units, 307 is what they're up to. And then there'll be a link to plans. The staff report normally is sometimes attached, but I think it just a nice, easy way for people to get a sense about what's going on. But of course, it needs to stay current. So as projects are wrapped up and completed, we'll take these things off so that it just stays fresh as we go. So it kind of reached a point where I felt we could go public with it, and then we can kind of refine it as we go. But I just wanted to alert everybody to this this new tool that we're showcasing.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. Anybody have any questions? That looks like a neat tool and a good addition for citizens to be able to find information. And so that's great. Anybody have any questions for Ryan on that? All right. Hearing none, Ryan, it looks like you're up again for Sagamore Parkway West Safety Summit.
Sorry, this isn't a question. I just wanted to note for the record that Commissioner Murtaugh did join us in progress.
Okay. Welcome, Tom. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I'll probably run through this with the APC at the November hearing because I'm going to be missing the October one. We'll be at the MPO conference. But all right, yeah, the Sagamore Parkway Safety Group, real quick. In discussions with Mayor Easter and staff, there was interest in trying to accelerate pedestrian and bicycle facilities on Sagamore Parkway between Cumberland and Klondike. So a stretch of that corridor, about half of it's in the county, half of it's in the city of West Lafayette. And as you know, if you've gone out there, there's lots of people that are walking and biking around, and there really are no facilities for them. And unfortunately, there have been accidents and fatalities. With Purdue Master leasing a big chunk of the Paramount Apartments, that just puts added pressure. And so we've decided to see about exploring a public-private type of arrangement to try to accelerate improvements being done. NDOT does have a 2029 project that I believe is unfunded that is floating out there in the future. But we did want to see if we could get anything a little sooner. And so we assembled as many of the local stakeholders that we could get, and then we also invited a lot of businesses. Very happily, many did respond. We had the manager of Walmart, Cook Medical was there, the PEFQ was there, and I'm going to try to see if I can get support from others. And our objective was just to kind of introduce everyone to the problem, which a lot of them knew about, and to try to come up with some solutions as a group. NDOT, of course, was there. This is their roadway. And so we let them know about some things that are happening in the near term. County Highway is in the process of doing some sidewalk connectivity projects within the Paramount area, which is certainly an immediate need. And so that's great that that's happening. And then, of course, Doug already mentioned this city bus funds transfer to the safety funds. And so that's going to hopefully plant the first big flag at probably the main problem intersection is Paramount. And so being able to get that improved straight away is really the priority. But then we really wanted the group to kind of identify what are their priorities beyond that. And we asked them to rank them, gave them some maps to draw on so they could identify those areas. And we're in the process of kind of collating all that information. And then we'll be having another meeting with this group in the future. It's not quite set yet. And we're starting to bump up towards the end of the year. So it's really hard getting on people's schedules. So we'll do the best we can. But to basically kind of go to the next step and say, okay, you've identified kind of the right areas. We know we don't have unlimited funds, but what can we do together to try to fill in some of these gaps to help people out there? So it's a little bit of an experiment. We'll see how successful we are with it. But if nothing else, we really got a lot of the major stakeholders together. They're very enthusiastic about it. They were anxious to participate in the effort with identifying the priorities for where in the quarter to strike first. And so I'm very grateful to those that were there, and we look forward to continuing the conversation. So that's a little snapshot for you.
Well, again, thank you for that presentation. Looks like good relationship building there, and that's always important. So thank you. Any questions for Ryan on the safety summit? All right, hearing none, we're going to jump down to the federal functional class update. And Doug, you got the next 3 items, it looks like.
Again, good afternoon. Kind of following up on this, after the decennial census occurs, there are generally 2 tasks that we do. The first is to visit the urban area boundary. We have done that, presented it to the board, and NDOT, and Federal Highway Administration, has approved that. That is done. The next step is to visit the functional classification of all of the roads in Tippecanoe County. We've been working on this on and off for a while this year. And we've been having this lot of discussion regarding it. And we came to the point where we think internally we have a good layout. Um, so the next step is to present that to NDOT for their review. We did send that to them, the actual department, and that occurred on September 20th. We have not heard of response yet, but once we hear of a response, we will probably go back and forth about, whether road X or Y should be this classification. But all in all, I think we've done a fairly good job. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the breakdown of mileage, of course, interstate has the least amount of mileage, which it should. It's only 53 miles at 2.8% of all the road mileage in Tippecanoe County. Local roads, on the other hand, should have the largest number at 62.5% or 1,188 miles. And the other four categories, principal arterial, minor arterial, major collector, and minor collector, are basically almost the same. The principal arterial and minor collector, for the principal arterial, there is 138 miles basically, minor collector, 141, minor arterial, 185, and major collector, 195. So in all, there is between the four middle functional classifications, it's fairly evenly distributed. So we think we came up with a fairly good proposal. And when we receive the information from NDOT, make whatever changes are needed, we will then present it to the technical transportation for their review and we hope recommendation, and then bring it back to this board. So basically, we just wanted to give you a status report of this. The next item that I'd like to review with you is the status of our federal funds, specifically our FY 2025 federal funds. The top portion shows the actual funds that have been officially obligated. And as you can see, there are two new ones. And these are the federal funds, 24 federal funds specifically, that we were given late in or earlier this year. And we can officially say that we have officially obligated all of our fiscal year 2024 federal funds. Again, good news to report. Looking at our 2025 funds, there is one task that needed to be done, and a portion of our safety funds, specifically highlighted in blue, HSIP funds, we wanted to flex them over to STBG funds. We are allowed to do this, and we can flex up to half the amount. We did submit the request to do this, and we just recently learned that that was approved, and you should see that next month's report up in the top box. So we are now set to go for the Morehouse Road project, which is coming up here fairly soon. And we do have some other projects point out, for example, the emergency vehicle preemption system, which that is going through the process right now. And it looks good. So overall, I think the um, next year we should be able to report the obligation of all our federal funds. There is one exception, though, is that for the Soldiers Home Road project, phase one, the right-of-way phase, there's been a challenge with going through the environmental process with that. Specifically, we have federal funds allocated to right-of-way, and in order to obligate those, the environmental must be approved. That has not happened. The consultant and sub-consultant are working on actually a very tight timeline to meet this deadline. So we are specifically looking and watching that to make sure that we can still obligate those funds to the right-of-way phase. Any questions or comments regarding that? Going on to the third piece of information, the 18-month letting list. The number one project listed on top was a new traffic signal at State Road 26 in McCarty Lane. That was on NDOT's bid letting here on the 9th, or yesterday. Looking at the information yesterday, this project, the engineer's estimate was $278,000 and change. Believe it or not, there were 7 firms that actually bid on this project. The low bid was from James H. Drew Corporation for $271,000 and change. So hopefully, since the amount is under the engineer's estimate, that project will move forward. As you can see, next month we have a number of projects that will be bids will be open, and specifically projects 5 and 6. The Tippecanoe County Bridge 527, which is Old US 231 north of McCutcheon High School. And then, of course, the next big or phase 2 for Morehouse Road. One project that I always keep track on is the State Road 225 project, the trust reconstruction or repair. This is also moving forward and will be on the November bidding list. Going down, let me see what else. Is this the old months list by chance? If you can go up to the date, I think this is last month's list. Yes, this is, my apologies. The new list did not get into the packet. So again, my apologies for that. A couple things I'd like to just report on. The US 52 project, this is the bridges over the Norfolk Southern. That was anticipated to go on the December letting, but has been moved to the February 2025 bid letting. And the only other major change I would report were the South 9th Street project. That moved from an August 25 letting to a January 26 letting, which is okay. That is still within plenty of time frame to use our federal funds. So again, my apologies for the wrong list. Are there any questions or comments?
All right. Thanks, Doug, Ryan, for those presentations. Anything from the board about what we've just discussed? All right. Hearing none, that is the last piece of my agenda. So at this point, Tim, however you want to handle public comment.
Yep, I think we'll go ahead and wait a minute. If there are none, Aria will let us know, and she is watching the clock, and then I'll let you know when we hit the minute.
Thank you.
I did also want to note, while we have a minute, that the updated letting list is in the technical committee packet. So if someone does want to view that, it is available on our website, and that should be the correct one for this month. So just to clean that up. Okay, looks like our minute has passed and there are no public comments on the web.
All right. Thank you for that. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Steve Snyder.
Do I have a second?
Second. Murtaugh.
Thank you. Conduct a roll call vote. Tom Murtaugh,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Deb Calder.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.